I searched for the hardest criticism of the Robinson curriculum that I could find on the internet, and I'm going to read it to you now in this video, and we're going to talk about it, so stay tuned. Hi everybody, my name is Karen. Welcome back to our channel called Our House, and if you're new here, consider subscribing. If you'd like to go from questions to confidence when it comes to the Robinson curriculum, I'm here to answer questions. And you might be wondering to yourself, why are you doing a video like this talking about criticism of the Robinson curriculum when, as you know out there, I try to be the biggest cheerleader, and I use this and I love it and I want to spread the word about it. So the purpose of this video, actually this was a video idea from my sister-in-law, and I thought it was a great idea. It's good to address some of this criticism for two reasons. Number one, if you are on the fence, I hope that this will remove all doubt for you and give you the confidence that you need to go ahead and jump forward, go ahead and jump into it. On the other hand too, if you're on the fence leaning more towards, I don't think this is for me, then let's talk about it. Let's address the criticism. And after this video, if you still think, yeah, this isn't really what I want to do at all, then we saved you some trouble. We saved you some money. And that's okay. No one is saying that RC is the perfect fit for every single homeschooling family. It's geared towards a certain crowd. It has certain benefits that appeal to a lot of parents, but not all parents, so that's okay. So we're gonna talk about the criticism in this video, and hopefully that helps solidify your decision either way. Now, to be honest with you, I searched really deep on the internet and I really couldn't find that much criticism. Yeah, there was a few little things, nothing really big, but I found what I considered kind of the harshest criticism in this one post, this one review. So I took that, I printed it here, and we're going to talk about each of the points that this mom brought up. So let's just jump right in. All right, criticism number one. Its emphasis on children self-teaching at young age is contradictory to all evidence. Young children learn with interaction. Older children should still have interaction, at least for literary analysis, writing feedback, and developing science lab skills. All right, so let's talk about it. Now, obviously there still is a lot of parent interaction. When they're in those young ages, you're the one teaching them how to read. You're helping them with their math facts. And honestly, I mean, isn't just parenting in general, you're always interacting with them. You're always an example, you're always a role model, you're always talking to your children, you're always, conversing, talking about things. So that doesn't stop just because you're homeschooling with the Robinson curriculum. But also, older children having interaction, literary analysis, and writing feedback. Well, part of the Robinson curriculum's, daily essay portion is that they submit their essay to a parent, to a guardian, whoever, and they give feedback. And as far as literary analysis, a lot of the writing can be related to the books that they're reading. So at the end of the book, they can do a book report, and even before that, my kids tell me every day what they read in their book. They like telling me what they read, and it's great for me to gauge their reading comprehension. So there's still a lot of that going on. Now, as far as the science lab skills, yes, it's true, there's not a lot of that in those early years or, up until high school. However, the Robinson kids, they all did really well in college. I believe some of them got PhDs. I'm working on an update video on the family. And so obviously this didn't hinder them. I think it helped to kind of trim away anything that wasn't absolutely necessary for them to just really build on those comprehension skills. And we can talk more a little bit later about, science with the Robinson curriculum. But as far as this point about interaction, there's still lots of interaction with your children. You're living with them, you're talking with them, you're having meals together, you're providing feedback on their essays, you're hearing them talk about their books that they're reading, you're correcting book reports. You might be quizzing them on vocabulary if you want to do that. You can, or giving them word families to spell every day. So that's how I feel about that point number one. Okay, let's move on to criticism number two. It has virtually no hands-on component. Nearly all information is derived through reading. While books are certainly important and make up a lot of how my children learns, they are greatly enriched by seeing, building, making, and exploring. So I think that's a fair point. It's not a lesson plan guide that's going to tell you to make tents out of graham crackers and peanut butter or building this or that. For the parents that view all of that as maybe busy work or added stress, added responsibilities, added tasks to plan them, to go buy the materials, to execute them, to clean up, then you would like that there's none of that in the Robinson curriculum. It's just the best way to gather information is through books, and as little as you can get in between the student and the book, the better. I feel like maybe some parents, some stay-at-home moms, they really want to feel like it's worth it for them to stay home and to homeschool and to give it all they got, and they view this as they view this not just as a means to educating their children, but maybe even I don't want to say hobby for them, but they really embrace it. It's kind of like they're doing school all over again. They get to, be this teacher that they wanted to be. They just really want to be involved. They really want to give it their all. Maybe they want to show their spouse that they're really doing a great job. There's a variety of reasons why a parent could want to go all out when it comes to homeschooling and have a lot of these hands-on activities. Maybe they like it, maybe the parent likes it as well. Maybe it's just something the whole family enjoys. And I also understand that this can be a way to bring all the family together, get the younger children involved and doing hands-on projects with the older kids. And so it makes for a smoother day for some families. I understand all of that. Lots of great reasons why. So if that is what you really like, that's what you really enjoy, then obviously you're not really gonna love the Robinson curriculum. However, if maybe you're a single parent, a working parent, or a parent who gets overwhelmed and burnt out by doing too much, having the pressure to have an activity for every single lesson that you're doing, then obviously this way of homeschooling is going to appeal to you. So that's my points with criticism number two. All right, let's talk about the next one, criticism number three. Its book selections, while solid academically, are also often dull. This wouldn't be a big deal if they offered some choices so that you could use the books that best appeal to your child, but they offer little or no choice with suggested text. Okay, ouch, right? Okay, I just disagree with this. And here's an example that I can bring to you just this week, recently. Okay, so we went to the library. We've been going back to the library and getting some books, and I like putting them on hold, the ones that I selected and picked out, and just picking them up and bringing them home, versus when we go together. All of us, of course, the kids want to pick out books. I mean, this is like their way of shopping with no money. They just want to, pick out their books. So here's an example of a book that my 7-year-old picked out. Okay, and this is a level 3 book. I'm going to compare this to one of the earlier books on the RC list, which is The Tale of Patty Muskrat. Now, my daughter gave me this at nighttime. She wanted me to read it aloud to her. I was reading it to her, and I could barely get through it. I mean, there were so many times where I thought, I just can't do it. I just can't read this book. I can't get through it. It was just so boring. I'm gonna read you a little piece of it, okay? Chapter 4. Tessie had a jumpy idea. She put Newton in her pocket. Newton had a sleepy idea. He shut his eyes. Tessie jumped. Newton popped out of her pocket. Tessie jumped again. Newton popped out of her pocket again. In, out, Jumping rope hurts my head, he said. Jumping rope is fun, said Tessie. I could do it all day. How can you jump over the same rope all day, asked Newton. When I jump over something, I keep going. Okay, and it was just a lot of that, of through the log, over a log, under the branch. Here we are. I kept reading this and I thought, I can't read this. I'm so sorry, but I did it. I made it to the end, okay? All right, so now I'm going to read you an excerpt from this book, which is one of the first books on the Robinson curriculum list. I think it's pretty comparable with this one, level 3. The moment Uncle Sammy looked around, he saw that the spoons were gone. He almost fainted. He was so upset. And he sank into one of his chairs and fanned himself with his cap. This is terrible, he said. Here I've lost all my knives and forks and spoons. I'm afraid I'm ruined. I shall have to stop running an eating house. A little later, he sprang up, and seizing Paddy Muskrat's coat collar, he shook him hard, for he was angry. And he shook Paddy. As he shook Paddy, the knives and forks and spoons made a great rattling in Paddy's pocket. But Uncle Sammy Coon thought the rattling was in Paddy's stomach, and he was so frightened by the sound that he let go of Paddy's collar and sat right down on one of the toadstool tables. Now, Uncle Sammy was quite fat, and he sat down so heavily that the toadstool table broke and sent him sprawling upon the floor. Okay, so see, I'm reading that and I want to know what's going to happen next. It's keeping me engaged, entertained. I appreciate the language, the vocabulary. So for me, I'm thinking this is much more exciting than this. This is really dull and boring. So I don't think that the RC books are dull at all. I mean, look at some of the stories. We have 50 famous stories retold. There's so much action and adventure there. You have things like the Rover Boys, mysteries, or you have Tom Swift, Airship, a lot of science fiction. And of course, as they get older, there's a lot of great, interesting titles on there. Books that I myself have started to read that I never read. And they're some of my favorite books now. So I don't know, I'd have to disagree with that. I do not think they're boring. Now, is every book a 5-star book? No, let's be honest. Some of the books, some of the Josephine Pollard books, like Christopher Columbus, George Washington, they're probably not, there's some kids' favorites. I know that from the group, but they're probably not everybody's favorite. But there's got to be a mix, and I think it's good for children to read books that maybe are a little bit stretching for them. Maybe they're not that interested in it, but they're reading it to acquire some sort of knowledge, especially like the history text. It's okay, it's good for their character. I think it's good for them to read a book that is not candy, right? A candy book. It's more of a meat and potato book, but that will make them appreciate the more sugary, sweet books for them, right? It's a well-balanced diet. So that is me addressing, so that is how I address that point. Okay, one more. Science. Robinson curriculum believes that since real science needs math, it should not be actively taught before children have the algebra skills for chemistry and the calculus skills for physics. I agree. However, not all real science needs these math levels. Conceptual physics is a real branch of study which they ignore. They also ignore biology in the younger years, though it requires comparatively little math. High school and college level science do not require much prior formal science, but do require active exposure to scientific topics. I think they are way off base here. Okay, I need to go get something. I'll be right back. Okay, so I have this list here of the Robinson curriculum books. You can find this record form on RC Online under bonuses. I think it's a great form to use. You can see all the book titles and you can track the day that they began and completed it, a book report, a book grade, exam grade, but it also has here corresponding subjects. So you can see what each book, what category it falls under. Literature obviously is a big one, but so is American history, world history, science, language arts, social studies, for example. So when it comes to science, there are science in the younger years in the form of The Tale of Jolly Robin, The Tale of Solomon Owl, and The Tale of Paddy Muskrat. So these books that I was just reading from, they do have a lot of nature study and biology and, you know, talking about animals, and they're very descriptive. So you do get it from the books. For example, book number 98, The Friendly Arctic, by Viljamor Stefansson. I can't read that. That's also a science book, obviously talking about the Arctic. Let's see here. Then we have The Mysterious Island by Jules Verne. That's a great one. Even Around the World in 80 Days. I just read that one not too long ago. I love that book. That had a lot of geography. That was very educational, I thought. So there is so much in the books. So I disagree with that. I do think that there's a lot of biology in the younger years, just in a different way, through the books, not through a science textbook. And actually, if you do want more of that, on RC Online in the bonus section, there are tons of science monographs. So you can study about electricity and weather and optics. I mean, anything you can imagine, I feel like is there in those science monographs. So that's available. It's just not required reading, because who needs to put additional tasks and additional burdens? You know, they don't want to put, they don't want to put additional burdens on the parents. This is enough. If you want to add more, great. But this is enough. You don't have to. And like I said, all the Robinson kids graduated college. Some of them have got PhDs, and I think a couple of them are veterinarians. So they obviously did very well with the science in this program. Now, if you would like to learn more about the Robinson curriculum, I have made a 13-part free video series here on YouTube, so I will link that in a card and in the description below. And here's my recommendation. If you want to do RC and you want to be successful with it, just go all in. I would highly recommend just purchasing the lifetime bundle, which has everything. It has the printer, it has bookbinding supplies, it has all the Saxon math books that you will need K through 12 with the corresponding answer keys. You will also get all the vocabulary cards, the phonics flashcards, the math flashcards. And really, if you think about it, the price, this is for the whole family for K through 12. All the materials is what some people pay just for 1 year, 1 semester, or for one child for the year, for 1 year. So it's really a great deal. And this is just gonna really set you up for success, because I feel like a lot of parents who struggle with RC, it's because, they're kind of trying it, but they're not all in. And maybe they have a hard time they can't print the books because they don't have an efficient printer, or they're having a hard time printing the vocabulary cards because it's a lot of them. It's a big vocabulary program. Versus having the cards already is easier. Or math facts. The math flashcards with RC are truly unique. They are very big, they're not distracting, they're much better than something you would find at the dollar store. So I would really recommend that. And also, if you purchase a lifetime bundle, you have an option of having a 1-hour coaching call with me. And so we can strategize what's the best way to set up a plan for you to be very successful with using this homeschooling program if you'd like. So if you're on the fence, the way I am is I just like to go all in on something to really give it a shot. Be fair about it. And so I recommend the lifetime bundle. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Thank you to our comment pick of the week. I really appreciate all of you. I really appreciate your video suggestions. Like I said, this was a video suggestion and I thought it was a really good topic. So if you have any ideas, always be sure to just leave them in the comments or email me at ourhousehomeschooling.com. Check out all the information in the description tab, and I will see you in another video. Bye.